Hello, and welcome to ScrapTV, the video forum for the ISRI and Scrap Magazine websites. I'm Kent Kaiser, your ScrapTV host, and I'm here today with Manny Bodner of Bodner Metal and Iron Corp in Houston, who is one of the 2016 Lifetime Achievement Award winners for ISRI. Welcome, Manny.
Thank you, Kent. It's great to be here.
Thank you for coming. Manny's company has been a longtime member of ISRI, and Manny himself has filled numerous ISRI leadership positions, including serving as a member of the National Board of Directors, president of the Gulf Coast chapter twice.
Twice.
Correct?
Yes.
That's a distinction. President of the Recycling Research Foundation, chair of the Design for Recycling Task Force, and member of more committees than he probably wants to remember. Well, thank you for joining me here today, Manny.
I will tell you it's an honor. It's truly an honor. And it's a great pleasure. It's a kick to be with you and be with everybody.
Oh, thank you. Well, first of all, tell me about when you heard you were going to get this award. What did you feel when you heard you were going to get this award?
The first thing I told Doug, I received a text because I didn't hear the phone ring. So I received a text. And evidently, I can hear the text more than the phone, so I don't know. So I saw, he said to call ASAP. Oh. It's rather urgent.
Oh.
I thought to myself, okay, that was it. I'm through being chair of DFR. Something's come up, and whatever that means. So I called him back, and so we had a nice conversation. And so he told me about the decision. Mm-hmm. I said, well, Doug, you've achieved in 3 seconds what so many people, I think, have tried to achieve in a lifetime. You have made me speechless. In fact, Stanton made that same comment. It was emotional. Oh. It was very emotional, and I was, and I am, just very touched by it all.
You deserve it. It was well deserved for sure. Now, you worked full time in the scrap industry for 47 years.
That is
correct.
Yes. Yes.
Can you tell me what were some of the greatest memories, highlights, milestones of your career, do you think? I mean, anything particularly stands out in those 47 years?
Well, wow, that's a great question because there's so much.
I'm sure.
And this is just with the company, I guess. And
yeah,
then, and of course, there are a lot of highlights with our association.
Right, we'll get around to that one.
With the company, I would think if I had to choose a number of three, I'll just pull three from my memory. And this was when I just joined. I had graduated from Texas in 1969, mm-hmm. And so I joined the company in 1969. Okay. And so there was a call, received a call, and it was some scrap aluminum. And so my dad said, well, go out and take care of it. I had no clue what that meant, okay? So I went out and we bought the load. That was my very first transaction. So I was very excited about that.
There you go.
And so that was a very interesting start to the career. Of course, the opportunity to sit side by side with my dad. Sure. Now that is irreplaceable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so then when we made the decision to move from a very small facility mm-hmm. to where we are now, which was much larger, okay. That it was a decision. It was a real decision, and we moved in 1978 at that point. And a few years went into it. We were into now the early 80s, okay. And then 1983 came along. Okay. And for 1983 to 1988, 5 years for us, and we're in Houston. And just as we're seeing it now, we saw it in that period of time. The oil, there was no oil drilling. Sure. The mills were buying today, tomorrow they were not buying. The prices that you saw published, they were publishing prices, but they were in reality theoretical pricing. The thought was if they were buying, sure. This is what they would be paying, except we're buying 50% of program or 25% of program. So You can do the math if you're shipping 1,000 tons or 100,000 tons.
Sure.
That's what you were faced with. And so it was I mean, it was interesting, and we just moved into our new facility.
Oh, boy.
We had all of these notes, financial responsibilities, our customers, but we believed, and you know me, Kent, you've known me a long time, we believe in communication, and we communicated with our customers every step of the way. What was going on, what we were seeing at that point, that banks were failing, banks were merging together.
Sure.
S&L industry, there is no more S&L industry.
Sure.
There are others that fill that vacuum, but it was a period of time. I am very proud to say we never lost one customer because of that. We contacted our customers, we talked to them, they respected us, and if there's one, there are quite a number of accomplishments, but the ability to earn the respect of your customer, the person that you're serving, that period of time was very instructional. It was very important. And then as later on we got out of that period, we went on, we built on that, we survived, we were stronger.
Sure.
We're 40, the company in 2015, we were 67 years old.
Oh,
wow. At that point, the second generation. And so yeah, then we acquired even larger accounts, and that's for the company. Yeah, that was for our company. So it's so important to talk about. You see, you have to be on the side of the customer.
Right, sure.
Because if you're on the side of the customer, then you're all going to grow, and you're all going to have that integrity. And
Absolutely.
I've said this many times: it's the integrity of the relationship that will take good care of you.
Absolutely. Well, I know you have many more you could offer,
Yeah, well,
but hey, we'll stop you at 3.
Yeah.
Now,
And you know me. You know me. You expect a short question, a short answer, you're going to get an hour-long answer. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'll move on to the next one.
Yes, okay.
You devoted many years of your career to volunteering for ISRI and its predecessors. Now, why do you think it was important to be involved in that way?
Well, it just as I've said before, that this association, what I don't understand is how can anyone become a part of a profession and not be an active part, not even a part, but an active part of their trade and professional association? How can you be an architect and not a member of that association? How can you be a physician? You have to be a part of that. How can you not be in the recycling industry and not be a part of that association?
Sure.
And so for us, it was a natural, it was something you needed to do.
Sure.
But it was a way to learn. It was a way to form relationships. It was a way to meet people around the world.
Sure.
And people are people. Listen, you do business a little bit different in the north than you do in the south, from the east and through the west. But people are basically people. And because of the relationships that we formed through ISRI, I believe that we became a better and better company. Right. Not suggest that we're the best, never suggesting that. But that was the core, that was a core value for our company.
Excellent. Now we get to the question you were talking about earlier. Let's talk about some of the highlights for you within ISRI. I know you've done a lot. I just listed some of them at the beginning, but what comes back to you as some of the real high points of your ISRI involvement?
Well, gosh, there's so many of those. I think becoming involved in the chapter, that was the introduction. Sure. And when you sat around the board table, these were, and I addressed that earlier, that those were the pioneers of our industry. But I wanted to stress also that we too, now, we are the new pioneers of our industry. But some of the highlights when I expressed interest to become involved. The chapter president at the time said absolutely. So in our chapter we have the ability to appoint. There are elected positions and there are appointed positions. So I was appointed, then I was elected. So then I became chapter president. And that was such an honor to become chapter president.
Sure.
And then, evidently I didn't get it right the first time. So they gave me another opportunity. I became chapter president again. And that continues to be a very special part because I met so many people during it was 80, 90, my first term, and then again in the mid-2000s. So I was able to meet just a couple of variety of people, and that is so very exciting. And then when I first was given the chance and the opportunity to become more involved at National, and when Cricket asked me to serve, once again, I said Cricket, that he was becoming chair, incoming chair. And I said, I'd like to become more involved. I'm not sure where and what those responsibilities are or how to do that. He said, okay. And that was the end of that conversation. And then he called me and asked me to serve as Operations Committee Chair. And that was so very touching. Just a great, great opportunity. And that committee, we grew that committee. And we did some things that maybe was unorthodox or was not traditional. But you know me, that's the way I operate. And, but people responded, and that was very fun. I think I have to say another highlight of my career, both in my business and in my industry, was when this time Cricket and Robin called me. Once again, I thought, okay, I had stepped over the line. I know I skate close to the line, but this time I'd gone over. Now, they love my membership, but now, thank you very much, but you need to back off. So what did they ask me to do? They asked me to testify before the United States Congress. The chair was from Illinois, from a suburb of Illinois, and I don't remember the town, but Congressman Manzullo, Donald Manzullo.
Okay.
And they were looking at the effect of pricing, because at the time, commodity pricing, and as it relates to our industry, the value of scrap was at such a level that there was a lot of concern from all areas, different businesses, manufacturing, the mill side, the consumer side, every side there was a lot of concern. What effect of that? And they were looking at what to do with that. And once again, I said Cricket. And at the time, that my speech was very disfluent. It was very disfluent. I don't know if you knew me or you remember, but back then, if I had to introduce myself, well, there could have gone 30 minutes. Now, I'm exaggerating, but that's how it felt. And you only have 5 minutes to give your testimony. And I was with a group of other manufacturers representing their industries or their companies and their industries. And so I remember I came in, we had a discussion of what to do. So I accepted. So I said, oh, so let me get back. So anyway, so I told Cricket and Robin, I said, Robin, you know me, you know how I speak. I said, there's so many qualified people in this industry. I know there are others. I just know there are. They would take none of that. And they said, nope, you're the one, and you're coming in. Awesome. So I did, and I went there. We met the day before with the chair, and I think that some members in ISRI they just wanted to make sure the chair understood me and I understood them. But what happened was that the chair's grandparents or parents came from Italy. My parents came from Poland, Czechoslovakia. So they both came from Europe, okay? Already we have a connection. My grandfather he owned the general store in the town in which they moved into Texas, into Houston. So he had the general store. his either dad or grandfather, I think it was his father, he was in the grocery business too.
Oh.
All of a sudden, we became great friends. We started talking about potatoes and tomatoes and all of this great stuff. And he was so very kind, very supportive, very neutral, very fair. He was a very good chair. In fact, I learned a lot from him on the way to be a chair and how to conduct a meeting.
Excellent.
And so that was very important.
That's a great vote of confidence.
And then, of course, the great work we're doing at DFR, the others in government relations, the meet going on the Hill, talking to our members of Congress. Those are all great things. But I will tell you what I really think above all of that, all that's great, all that's wonderful. And it's really a thrill to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was able, again, I don't want to say it's just me, but we were able to bring in other people into leadership positions.
Sure.
Because it just can't rest with us. We have to develop that talent, and that talent is there.
Absolutely.
You know it's there. And we brought in, and we brought in people that were never involved in our chapter before, people that were never involved at national before, and we brought them in. And I would say that could be, I'm very proud of that. I am very proud of that.
Unbelievable. Yeah. That's great. Well, now, Manny, you recently sold your company, and you're officially retired, technically, from the recycling industry?
I am retired as of February the 1st. The events, you know, you can plan for a lot of things. A lot of things just present themselves. And this presented themselves, or presented itself. Yeah. I'm glad my wife is not here, because she would correct my grammar. But, well, let me say she's here, but she's not in this room, in this interview. But, except yes, and both Jennifer and I, we had that discussion, and we thought it was right and proper, and that is what we did, and I am just thrilled. The decision was made, and I am thrilled with that. There are so many opportunities being presented now that I'm just very excited about.
Excellent. Now, what will you miss about being in the industry?
All of the ribbing.
We can call you.
You know, the industry is the industry. You love the industry. Yeah, I don't think I'll miss anything, because I'm still a part of the industry. You know, even though I'm out, I'm in. You know, it's your friends are your friends. And I spoke about this. It's the relationships. It's the relationships, and those are going to continue. Those are continuing.
Absolutely.
So what am I going to miss? I don't know. I don't know. I don't ever look back. I've never looked back. You know, you always critique yourself.
Sure.
Well, how did I do? How does one do? But I look forward to what's ahead, and I'm, just as I said before, I'm very thrilled with that.
Well, thank you, Manny. We could keep talking all day, I'm sure, and I think we got to cut it off at this point, though. But thank you so much again for coming and talking to me today.
Thanks for having me. It's a thrill.
And congratulations
Thank you.
again.
Thank you, Kent.
This is Kent Kaiser for ScrapTV, saying thank you for joining us, and we'll talk again next time.